In Daniel chapter 7, we get to witness a beast comprised of 10 horns, after which we get to witness another little horn pop up. This is the 11th horn, or Antichrist, this little horn, 11th horn. Have you heard by the majority that the beast we see in Revelation chapter 13 is also the Antichrist? I've heard that repeatedly, folks. That the beast in Revelation 13, comprised of 10 horns, is the Antichrist. My question is simple. If the little horn is the 11th according to Daniel chapter 7, why does Revelation chapter 13 only have 10 horns? Who stole the little horn out of Revelation chapter 13? The first beast, supposedly being the Antichrist. Folks, you're not going to want to go anywhere. I'm going to give you a first for television, some jaw-dropping revelations. Regrettably, though, I'm going to slow down, only regrettably the part that I mean. Not some of you are going to appreciate that I slow down because you keep saying, Steve needs to slow down. The problem is this is now going to become a two-parter. So I can't get everything I want into in this first teaching. This is going to be a two-parter, but I'm still telling you, you're not going to want to go anywhere. By the time this first message is done, part 1, you're going to be going, wow. Now, I'm not kidding. Now, before I answer my opening statement, which would be more like a teaser, I need to go over some things with you real quick. Some universal truths that don't change. One is the Bible interprets itself, folks. Did you know that? The Bible interprets itself. You don't have to look to any other book, go anywhere else other than the Bible to find the interpretation or meaning to something or whatever you're trying to learn inside the Bible. It interprets itself. The second thing, another truth, interpretations, no matter what it is, remains constant throughout the Word. In other words, I don't care what book you're in the Bible, whatever interpretation you're getting out of one book will remain constant throughout any other book in the Bible. Let me give you an example. Since today we're talking about the beasts, Daniel speaks of beasts. In Daniel chapter 7, you get to see 4 of them. Revelation also talks about beasts, but we are given the interpretation in Daniel, a real simplistic interpretation in Daniel chapter 7, verse 23. Daniel's told, and what he's saying, thus he said unto me, this is being an angel talking to Daniel, thus he said unto me, the 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon the earth. Now, that is the Bible giving us an interpretation to what a beast is, which I want to point out real quick. Considering we're talking about the 4th beast or a beast, you know every time you're hearing about a beast, get this. If the 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon the earth, then that means the other 3 prior to were also beasts. Beasts are going to remain the same. In Revelation chapter 13, we are again seeing 2 beasts this time. I'm going to tell you, if a beast is a kingdom, as it is in Daniel 7, that's what he's told, a beast is a kingdom, the 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon the earth. So a beast is a kingdom or an empire. Revelation chapter 13 is going to give again to 2 beasts. There are also going to be empires or kingdoms. You got beasts there too. The interpretation won't change. In fact, let me give you another classic example. Daniel, we get to see in chapter 7. I'll try to put these scriptures down below. For the sake of time, I can't read all of them, but I'll put them down below so you know that I'm telling you the truth. In Daniel chapter 7, we're also told the meaning of horns. Okay? Revelation chapter 17 and 18 also gives us the meaning of a horn, and it's unanimous. It's the same. It's constant. A horn is a king. So the meaning doesn't change. I don't care what book you're in. Are you following me, folks? Whether you're in Daniel, whether you're in Revelation, doesn't matter. If a beast is a kingdom in Daniel, then a beast is a kingdom in Revelation. If a horn is a king in Revelation and or in Daniel, it's constant no matter what book you're in. I want you to get that because this part's going to be important. I have, and so have you, been told repeatedly that the first beast in Revelation chapter 13 is the Antichrist. Now, folks, hear me out. Let's use some common sense. If a beast is a kingdom, how can it be a person? Right? This is not a trick question. If a beast is a kingdom, how come are we calling the first beast in Revelation chapter 13? We're going to get a look at 2 here in a minute. I'm going to make all this make sense to you, folks. There is a resolve. I'm not trying to confuse anybody, but it is an issue. Why are we saying a beast is all of a sudden a person, an Antichrist, when a beast, we are specifically told, is an empire? The only mention that I will tell you to where you do get a person involved, that's going to be the horn. And what did I show you a horn is? A horn is a king. There's your guy or individual person. Are you following me? So if there's any mention of a person in a beast, you're going to find that person's going to be the horn, and it's going to be the ruler or king of that individual kingdom or beast. And the way of looking at it is like you're looking at a creature, which we're about to read the description of. You're looking at a creature, and you're going to get the description. And on top of this creature, this beast is going to be your little dude, your horn, your king, your ruler, okay? Now, before we go to Revelation 13, again, remember what I just told you. It remains constant. A horn is a king. I want you to see what happens in Daniel when he sees this 10-horned beast, the fourth beast. You can read about it in Daniel chapter 7, verse 7, but we're going to go to Daniel chapter 7, verse 8, the very next verse. This is what's important. Now listen, Daniel just got done seeing in verse 7 a 10-horned beast, a 10-horned beast. And a horn are kings, or a king, right? So we have here in the fourth beast a 10-horned beast, okay? And what is a horn? A king. If you got 10 of them, what do you have? You have an alliance. Okay? You're not going to have one nation with 10 horns in it. No, each nation has its own king. I can imagine the fighting that would be going on if you had yourself, one nation that had 10 horns. No, each nation has its own horn. Daniel's looking at an alliance, an empire, a kingdom. In verse 7. Look what he sees has happened. What happens after verse 7? What happens? What happens? Listen. We go to verse 8. As I considered the horns, he's referring to the 10. As I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn. Did you catch this, folks? After Daniel's looking at the fourth beast, comprised of 10 horns, he sees another little horn come up among them. What is that? That is the 11th horn. Everybody recognizes this as, and I'm not about to dispute it, the little horn is the Antichrist. Now, what I want us to do, I want us to go over to Revelation chapter 13, and we're going to get a look at the beast or kingdom that we see there. You have your Bibles. Give me a second to turn to mine. Break them out. I'll try to put all the scriptures up for you again. Now, here's what we're going to be listening to. Listen, folks. Hear me. A beast. A kingdom. Bible interpreted for us. Okay? You're going to be reading here. We're going to be reading here, and you're going to get to listen to a wild-looking creature. Okay? It's a creature. It's not a guy. You're also going to be hearing words like he and him. Okay? In this creature, you're also going to, which is described as a he or a him. I guess it's a male creature. You're going to get to read this. Or you got the weirdest looking guy I've ever seen in my life. We're also going to hear this first beast that people consistently say is the Antichrist. That's comprised of 10 horns. And what is a horn? That is the mention of an individual. That's the only mention you're going to get where it comes down to an individual is a horn. Otherwise, you're looking at a beast. But I want you to hear this. And remember this, folks. This first beast, again, comprised of 10 horns, is not a man. It's a kingdom, right? So break out your Bibles. We're going to go to chapter 13, verse 1. Listen to the description. Show me a guy. Show me the description of a man. Other than a horn, let's try to find a guy. Verse 1, and I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise, a beast. I just want to make sure you're hearing what I'm reading, folks. I'll repeat when I think I need to, but I want you to be clear in what I'm saying here, or what the verse is saying. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast, not a guy, not an Antichrist, not a person, not some dude. And I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. This is important. Does this sound like a guy so far to you? Have you heard a man anywhere in this so far? Of course not. Having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns, whose? Who's the his? Who's the he? The beast, not a guy. Yet many people conveniently start changing this he over to an Antichrist. And I'm going to show you flat out that's just flat out wrong. I'm sorry, folks. You be the judge. You be the judge. Read this with me. And upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads, the name of blasphemy. Now, have you heard of a guy? Does this sound anything like a guy? Of course not. And the beast which I saw, again, we're still talking, again, what's a beast? A kingdom. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. This is the weirdest looking dude if I've ever heard of one. Obviously, this is a composition. In fact, I'll tell you real quick, folks. What John is seeing right here is the total sum of Daniel 7. The sum total of Daniel chapter 7 is right here in this first beast. This is important. The interesting thing about this is you're not going to get to hear about the eagle wings. Why? Because the focal point in Daniel chapter 7 is the first beast you see is a lion with eagle wings. And Daniel watches until the eagle wings are plucked. The eagle wings are gone. And so you get to see the first beast. Stand up upon his feet as a man stands. This is the lion. Second beast in Daniel chapter 7 is a bear. Third beast is a leopard. Fourth beast is a beast that has 10 horns. People depict this beast as a dragon. It's just a beast if you want to go read it. It's a beast with 10 horns. Horns, again, are what? Kings. And then what had happened? And then Daniel saw, when he was looking at the fourth beast, he saw, and behold, another little horn came up among them, simply among them. This is important, because we're going to figure this out. And it's all right here. Revelation 13's first beast, again, is a sum total. Shy the eagle wings because they're gone. Everything else we see of the 4 beasts in Daniel chapter 7. I'll do it one more time, just for the sake. I want to make sure everybody gets it. First verse again, one more time, folks. People say I go so fast. You're going to get this. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads, 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. This beast's. Verse 2, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. Seen again in Daniel chapter 7. And his feet were as the feet of a bear, again in Daniel chapter 7. And his mouth the mouth of a lion, again in Daniel chapter 7. And the dragon is Satan, folks. And the dragon gave him, who? This beast that looks like this, not a dude. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. So far we got a crazy looking beast. Simply the total sum of Daniel chapter 7 right here so far in this first beast, because there's 2. Get a load of this. And who's giving him this empire, this kingdom? The dragon is giving this beast, this kingdom, its authority, its power, its seat. Verse 3, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded unto death, and his deadly wound was healed. Whose deadly wound is healed here? A man's? I've heard that too, folks. Where's a man? I have heard only of a creature, a crazy looking one, though the total sum of Daniel chapter 7. People have said the guy's head's going to be wounded unto death. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded unto death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the Antichrist. No, I'm sorry. All the world wondered after the beast. A beast, not a guy. And get a load of this. Verse 4 is specific because we're going to hear this again. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, who was like unto the beast. A kingdom, not a guy. Who is able to make war with him? Who? Him. The guy? No. Anybody can kill a guy. This empire, this kingdom. Let's keep reading. We'll get this here, folks. Verse 5. And there was given unto him, what? The beast. A mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months. Now, people have started interchanging and making this about the Antichrist. And yet I don't see where that got changed. In fact, I'm going to show you it didn't get changed over to the Antichrist. Folks, this is a beast. This is who the he and the him is. And he opened his mouth in blaspheme against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. I'll say something real quick. So far, we've only been seeing a beast. That is not to say that the little horn or the Antichrist will not be in unison with this purpose. Oh, he will be. But that doesn't make this beast the Antichrist. A beast will remain the same, folks. We can't just willingly just change it over to a person because we feel like it's a person. I'm not saying, again, that the purpose of the Antichrist won't be in unison with this. Oh, it will be, but that doesn't make this beast a person. And so far, if this is a person, he is the ugliest looking thing I think I've ever seen. So this is not a person. This is Daniel chapter 7. Verse 7, again, this is an empire, this is a kingdom, and the Antichrist, the little horn's purpose will be this as well. We know this. Verse 7, it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and power was given unto him, who? The beast. Over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And we learn about this in Daniel chapter 7's fourth beast. This is the same beast. 10 horns. Get a load of this, verse 8. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him. Who? The beast. Now people say, no, this is the Antichrist. Folks, we were just told in verse 4 that the beast is going to be worshipped. Listen, I'll read the verse for you. Verse 8. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him whose names are not written in the book of life, slain from the foundation of the world. In verse 4, what did it say? Who are they worshiping? Are they worshiping a guy? No. Verse 4, and they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast. So to sit and say verse 8, all of a sudden we've now moved over to a man, when we just learned in verse 4 who they're worshiping is, folks, talk about reaching, going places that the verse is not going. I'm just going to say it's wrong. It's wrong to do. It told us here who they're worshiping, okay? So it's not a guy, it's a beast. Verse 9, if any man have ear, let him hear. And he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, and he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and faith of the saints. Get a load of this. Verse 11, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and spake as a dragon. And he exercises all power of the first beast before him. Did you hear that? Verse 12 just confirmed to you what the first thing that we read was. And he exercises all power of the first beast before him. Now we're just witnessing a second beast come out of the earth. How many horns does it have? It has 2, doesn't it? Second beast has 2. Exercising all power of the first beast, not the first guy. And folks, here's the question that I asked at the opening of the broadcast. And it's a hard question. The people seem to... We've continually said, the beast is the Antichrist. The beast is the Antichrist. And the false prophet is another person. I'll get to that. That's going to be part 2. I need to deal with the first one. I need to show you right now that the Antichrist, the little horn, is not existing in the first beast. Why? Because the first beast is only comprised of how many horns? And what are horns? The first beast is comprised of 10 horns, right? Do you remember what it said after in Daniel chapter 7, verse 8? He just got done looking at the beast comprised of 10 horns, and he beheld, and lo, another little horn came up among them. Another little horn came up. That's the 11th horn. That little horn, folks, is the Antichrist. Are you understanding? The little horn is the Antichrist. So I'm asking a very simple question for those who swear that this first beast even has the little horn in it. How? The first beast is only comprised of 10 horns. There is no 11th there, is there? Of course not. There's only 10. So I'll ask it again. If another little horn pops up in verse 8 of Daniel chapter 7, and behold, another little horn came up among them. That's the 11th horn. That's the Antichrist. And the first beast right here doesn't even have the little horn. How can anybody imply? Come on, folks, I know you can get this. I know you can get this. How can anybody even suggest that the first beast has the little horn in it? It doesn't exist there, does it? Now, I know this is raising some dilemmas for some of you saying, well, what, Steve, where in the world is the little horn then? Where's the Antichrist? If all we're doing is looking at a kingdom, all you got to do was hear about a creature, folks, with 10 horns, 10 kings on top of it. That's all we heard. We heard the description of some wild-looking creature, which is simply just the total sum of Daniel chapter 7. Right? Daniel chapter 7's 4 beasts are right there. Shy the little horn. Because there isn't 11 horns in this first beast. Okay? I need you folks to understand this. I need you to get, and if that's the case, then we need to stop saying that there's a man mentioned in here. There's not, other than if you want to say a horn is, and a horn is. A horn is the guy, or a king, a ruler. And in this particular case, we have 10. Now, I want to show you where the only possible place the little horn can be. If he's not in the first, where is he? Well, we had another. Oops, here comes another beast. Folks, I know you got to hear this. I'll read it again. Verse 11, and I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and spake as a dragon. So I'll ask again, where is your little horn? The only other place he can be is in the second beast. And here's another revelation for some of you folks. Considering the little horn is in the second beast, the only place he can, or somehow you got to add another 11th horn to the first beast, ain't going to happen. It's not. We've already counted. I know my kid can count. Any young person can figure this out. If it's not in the first 10, and you got yourself another one coming up, like Daniel saw, now all of a sudden John sees another one coming up, this time comprised of 2 horns. Where is your little horn? Get this, folks, in an entirely different locale, an entirely different empire, an entirely different kingdom. This is where your little horn is, residing in the only place he can. He's in a different empire altogether. And people will tell you many times that the 10 horns in the first beast, or at least in Daniel chapter 7's 4th beast, that's comprised of Eastern nations. You know what? I won't argue with it. I won't. But I'll also tell you this. If the little horn was a part of the 10 horns, you simply would have had 11 horns, a composition of 11 horns. That 4th beast would have grown another one. No, this little horn came up among them. It doesn't mean it's a part of him, but it simply does mean it came up among them. But still not a part of the 4th beast. Still not a part of the first. 4th in Daniel, 1st here in Revelation 13. It's not a part of the same empire. It's not even a part of the same kingdom. Folks, I hope you're hearing this. This is jaw-dropping to where people seem to think, first off, again, back to the Antichrist as the beast. Since when has a beast become a person? No, only horns are. That's the first thing that should be thrown some of you. And that the Antichrist, the little horn, is in the first, and he's not. And where is he? in an entirely different domain. Another kingdom, another empire altogether. And this time aligned up with another horn that Daniel doesn't mention. We are given two here. There's going to be an alliance between the only other place the little horn can be, and that's going to be in the second beast. There's going to be an alliance between he and another king or another ruler, but it's not a part of the first kingdom. Folks, this is shocking. Now, what I want to get, because people constantly say, okay, the beast is the Antichrist. I think we've ruled that out. The beast is a kingdom, and the only mention of people are the 10 horns. And the Antichrist isn't there because he's the 11th. It's the only possible solution he must be. The only place he can be is in the second beast. But people also say, and it's true because you can get this, which we'll be discussing in part 2 that you're not going to want to miss. It's going to be the most shocking thing so far that I've told you out of everything I've told you so far. People get the mention of the Antichrist and the false prophet, which the second beast is the false prophet. That is his label. That is his name. But they get this from scriptures thinking about a beast being the Antichrist from Revelation 16, 19 and 20 and 20. There, I'll put some scriptures down below you can look, and that's where we get the belief that the beast is the Antichrist and that the second beast is the false prophet, but a dude also. And what I just told you, the second beast exercises all power of the first beast before him. We're still talking two beasts, folks. You're not going to want to miss next week's broadcast. I'm not just going to show you that there isn't mention of a guy, because I know some of you are already running off thinking, well, there's a man mentioned. Some of you are going to be floored. You're going to be floored, and that's why I hate having to do two teachings, folks. I want you to go to CochraneMinistries.com, get the graph, or call in an order. Each week I'm giving you portions of chapters, which in each chapter there are numerous revelations that are jaw droppers, folks. Jaw droppers. And if this hasn't affected you, then I'm not really sure what's going to affect you. You can also go to Cochrane Ministries and preview 9 chapters of a 21 chapter book. It's in video form. Just click on the video. It goes from one video to the next, and just plays automatically. And you can preview 9 chapters of the graph for free. If you like what you see, get the book, folks. It's only $25 plus $5 shipping. I think it comes to $30. You see in here revelations from my youth. Since I was 20 years old, I'm 56. Look for more to come. Don't miss next week. Until then, take care and God bless.